I'm just setting up here, but I figured I would walk you guys through how I make my high protein lattes. This one is going to be a peanut butter cinnamon high protein latte, and the high protein is using a protein shake instead of milk as, I guess you can say, the base in addition to the coffee. So just give me a second and then we will get started. I hope you all have been enjoying your weekend. I know I've had a really restful weekend myself. So, yeah, let me get the coffee. Give everyone a second to join. Let me bring this forward so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, let's get going because I am in need for coffee. So the first thing that I'm going to do is make my coffee. I ground my beans. I don't use the drip method, and you'll see how I create that. So I'm going to just take some coffee beans out of this container. And if you use a grinder like I do, I keep mine on the fine setting when I'm making, this is essentially espresso that I'm going to be making, but typically day-to-day coffee, I French press, so I keep it on course. So that's just more of a FYI. So I just take like small handful. This is just for myself, and just put like a few beans in here. Yeah, okay. And then we'll put the top back on. And we'll grind this. Here we go. Oop. Okay. All right, so that's done. And it gives you quite a bit, and I didn't put that much beans in here, so it just shows that a little goes a long way. So if I shift us over here, I'm going to be using, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this espresso contraption. It comes with a filter here. So when you remove the filter, this is where you add in the water, and then you add the filter on top, and then you add in your ground coffee. So for the water, there isn't any markings on the inside, but since I'm the only one having this, what I try and do is fill the water kind of halfway between the base of this container and this like knot thing here, so halfway through. So take some water, and like I said, I'm just gonna fill halfway. Yeah, that should be enough. So about this much. I might even actually dump some, just because there's going to be other liquids in this drink. So I just need enough that the espresso will be strong. Okay. So now we add the filter on top. Hello, good morning. And then we'll add the ground coffee on top. Okay. And then I'll just take my fingers and kind of just flatten it out. Okay. You can see that's what it looks like. And then we screw this on top. And what I'm going to do is now it boils on the stove. So I'm going to turn the stove on. Let's put this on high. And eventually you'll start to hear it making like a gurgling sound. When the gurgling stops, that's how I know this is ready. So while that cooks, I figured I would show you guys some of the other things. So this is actually what I'm going to be using as the, I don't know if I should say substitute, but for the milk. Typically in lattes, we use milk. I'm going to be using this. This is by Quest. This actually just came out recently. It's like a milkshake protein drink. And then I'm going to be using French vanilla sugar-free syrup. We'll use this sweetener. I really like brown sugar. It's brown sugar, brown sweetener. I really like it. And then we're going to actually be adding peanut butter to our lattes. I think it'll taste really nice with some cinnamon. So yeah, so in the meantime, We're gonna wait for this to start boiling. I'm gonna cut some ice in the meantime. And you guys chat to me. Let me know how your weekend has been. What recipes also would you like to see? I try to come on periodically just to humanize the account. So just, curious what you guys want to see. I also just posted a new video yesterday. It's a mashed potato and lamb chop video. So if you haven't checked that out, I would highly suggest you do. And it uses purple mashed potatoes. A friend of mine put me on to purple mashed potatoes a few days ago that she purchased at Trader Joe's. And I was curious and I went to Trader Joe's and picked up some. And I was like, oh, this is actually really nice, and it tastes just like white potatoes, except it's purple and it has other ingredients and things in it. So anyway, new recipe that I posted yesterday. It's a long form video. Definitely check that out. And let me know if you have questions. Let me know, do you have questions? Have you ever had, let me actually turn this around so you're not just looking at ingredients and you can see my face. Have you guys ever had well, we call it profi, like a profi latte. Do you guys drink protein coffee drinks? Have you ever had one? If you have, what do you think? I like drinking protein coffee drinks because I am heavy into the gym. I don't show fitness content on YouTube just as a personal reason. I prefer to keep it to Instagram and TikTok. I feel like that platform is better for those things. So YouTube is more of like where I do the high protein cooking or even just like indulgence meals that I just may have here and there, right? Fitness and living a healthy lifestyle is all about balance. So definitely lean on the 80-20 method. So that's why YouTube is strictly just food. But again, I think, you can find recipes with any creator, but I try to make mine such that protein is the focus, and hopefully that comes through in the videos. But yeah, so let me know, what questions do you have? What recipes do you want to see? Do you like the lives? I feel like, I do them. I don't personally watch lives. Maybe I just don't have time. But like, what do you guys like from the live videos? What do you get out from them? Because I'm just trying to find my flow here of what do you guys want to see? What do you guys like? What do you not like? What would you prefer to see? Let me know. So here we can check on our coffee. I'm going to just flip the screen around. So it's not boiling yet because you'll be able to hear it, but I can tell it's starting to kick in. It's making like a steaming sound. So while we wait for that, I'm just going to cut ice. And what I mean by cut ice, I make my ice, I have them in like big blocks. So I just cut them. I use a hammer. I put some in a Ziploc bag and use a hammer to cut it into smaller pieces. So if you hear a noise in the background, that's what that is. While we wait. And you guys might even start to hear it boiling. I can hear it now. Let's put this away. Put the coffee beans away. Oh, do you guys hear it? So that's what it sounds like. Like I said, let me know if you guys have any questions, any queries. Otherwise, like I said, we're just going to wait for that to be done. you can see at this point now what's happening. Let me just zoom out a little bit. What's happening is the water that we put in this compartment is starting to boil. And so, you know, we put in the ground coffee in the filter, so then it will now bring up the coffee, or let's say espresso anyway, into the body of this contraption. So ultimately there'll be no water at the bottom and everything will be in here. So like I said, once we don't hear that gurgling sound anymore is when this is done and we can continue on with the drink. So hopefully this is almost done. Oh, okay, no, I thought it was done. I always try and listen very closely for that sound to stop because I don't want my coffee to burn. And it's done. You see how the sound is completely done. So we're gonna turn this off, remove this from the stove, and then let's flip you guys over here. See my hammer here that I use to cut ice. So let's adjust you guys, because now we'll be working from here. Let me widen this. Okay. All right. So the next step here, we're going to take some peanut butter. I'm just going to do about like a tablespoon of peanut butter. And actually, you know what? Because we're going to be using this for both the sugar and the peanut butter, let's start with the sugar because obviously once we dip this in peanut butter, it's going to be sticky. So we're going to take some sweetener. Like I said, we're going to do about a tablespoon. Add that in there. Now, let me just shake off some of that. Now we're going to take some peanut butter. Same thing, about a tablespoon. Let me get a spoon. I'll just add some peanut butter in there. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to take some syrup. So, told you we're using the French vanilla sugar-free syrup. We'll do 2 teaspoons. So this is half a teaspoon, so 4 of this. Oop, jeez. A little heavy-handed. Okay, so that's 1 teaspoon. All right, that's 2 teaspoons. All right, now, where is the coffee or the espresso? So now we're gonna add the espresso in. Okay. Let me lower you guys so you can really see what's going on here. Let me get another spoon. Actually, yeah, let's use another spoon. So now we're gonna just twirl that around. I wanna make sure that the peanut butter gets melted. I don't know if that's the correct term here, but just, yeah. Okay. Let's use a, where's my frother? Here we go. So now we're gonna use a frother. Just gently froth this. This also will help mix the peanut butter through thoroughly versus just using a spoon. So I take my time with this. Okay, that's done. So now we are going to take our protein milkshake. This is like half a bottle. I'm gonna use less than that, but you'll add that in. Hi, Yvonne. Hello, welcome. Don't think I'm ignoring you. Just trying to also walk through this. Welcome, welcome. So now we're gonna add the coffee, peanut butter, syrup mix. All right, there we go. And then, because I'm a little extra, add a little cinnamon on top. Okay, add your straw. And just mix that around. It already looks really good. And we are gonna do a taste test. So let me. All right, so let's see how this tastes. Because this is actually, so I make these often, but this is my first time making this specific recipe. So let's see. Make this. You guys need to make this. This is so good. Wait, this is actually so good. This is so good. Hi, welcome to the live. Guys, make this. Make this. What I will do, I'm gonna just add some tweaks to this live when we end, but I'm going to add in all the ingredient amounts in a comment so that you can go back to the comment and know exactly. I mean, I walked you guys through the amounts in the video, but just so that you have that. But this is incredible. Like, this is actually very good. Wow. I've seen recipes where people use like almond butter or like Biscoff butter, but I had always wondered about peanut butter. This is very good. This is very delicious. So try this out. Let me know if you try this out. Like I said, there's a new video that was posted yesterday about lamb chops and purple mashed potatoes. Yes, purple. So check that out. The recipe was incredible. The dish was incredible. And that's it. So thank you so much for joining my live. This was fun, and I will see you guys in the next live. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you sometime this week. What did you put in your drink? So this was a protein coffee drink. So peanut butter, brown sugar, espresso, cinnamon, and vanilla syrup. And as I said, I'm gonna include all the ingredients and things in a comment. I just have to add some things to this live before I post it publicly. But it came out delicious. It is so good. It's another way of getting more protein into your diet because, again, pockets of protein, that's what the page is for. So yes, but like I said, I will add that information in, and then you can make this at home. But thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys another day. Take care.